It's 6:30 here on the East Coast, and this is, well, Saturday night something with Zach and Ray coming to you from our beautiful worldwide headquarters in Bethesda, Maryland, and our secondary location right here in my condo in Ventnor, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed, Pops. How are you this evening?
I am well. I am enjoying the Jersey Shore, getting some color, eating my favorite foods, going to my favorite restaurants, and sharing my time with my favorite friends.
That's fantastic. I like your cool guy sunglasses. I think you
They're
look
not
very hip.
sunglasses. They're
It's cool guy glasses.
yeah. Sunglasses they would have dark lenses. These will get dark when I go outside.
Very true. Pops, let's
Yeah.
kick things off with, we had the video drop on the channel today. We talked about a bit over on the Ray and Zach channel yesterday. Ford, they're making pretty big waves in the auto industry. Their CEO, Jim Farley, coming out and saying he is going to expect and hold his dealers to brutal standards, brutal change. They're going direct to consumer. I mean, we talked about this a bit yesterday, but what's the takeaway here, Dad? What's going on with Ford? Are they really making a mistake?
I think the takeaway here is Jim Farley feels like he doesn't get enough attention, so he's just trying to draw a little more attention to himself, and make himself bigger than Ford.
And that's tonight's show. So we'll be back on Monday with news.
I mean, how many times can I say the same thing about Ford? I mean, it's just he's got ideas. He's sharing ideas. He's sending up as many different trial balloons as he possibly can. It's like throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. And at this point, my guess is that it's a Teflon wall. That's all. But he's trying. He wants to bring the dealers and the automotive industry kicking and screaming into the 21st century.
And, all this is going on all the while at the last quarterly earnings. Ford's CFO said they had, 50,000 vehicles, 53,000 vehicles. I forget what the exact number was. They've got tens of thousands of vehicles sitting around waiting for chips so they can actually get them into consumers' hands. And so it's interesting that we're at this period of time where we're going to talk about the future, when the present is our average transaction prices have gone up 17% year over year for the month of May, and we can't get cars and trucks into people's hands. Plus, we've had people reach out to me on Twitter, Dad. The Ford Bronco has some potential issues with the engine. This is after the Ford Bronco.
Let me help you. Catastrophic engine failure. And who doesn't want catastrophic and failure associated with the engine in their car? I mean, who doesn't? And the wonderful thing for Mr. Farley is every second there is more future. Okay. It's pretty simple. He is looking to the future, and he's I don't know, got some magical thinking going on as to what it is that he's going to be able to do to what's the word I'm looking for?
Transform
the future, bring about the future the way he thinks we all want it.
Definitely. Pops, let's actually set a tone for tonight. So we'll talk about Ford here a little bit more, and then I want to talk about gas prices because it's insane. I just filled up Laura's car on the drive here to the office, and I was like, what the heck is going on here?
Wait. You filled her car?
I did fill her car.
It's not like you've ever filled my car. My God, you must really like her.
So anyway, gas prices. Want to spend some time talking about that, Dad. And then I know a lot of people still are trying to buy a car right now. So maybe we go back to the basics, what this channel was founded on. If you're trying to buy a car right now, leave us some comments in the chat. Maybe we can spend some time trying to walk through and figure out if we can help folks find an okay deal.
I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, so actually, let's please in the chat now, and I'll scroll back up to it in the window here. Someone who's trying to buy a car in this market, maybe you got, Dad, I actually got a text message from my friend Elizabeth yesterday. Her car got totaled, and she was texting me. Yeah, exactly. So she has to buy a car. So if you have to buy a car right now, you're trying to buy a car right now, leave us some comments. We'll see if we can help you out. But Pops, let's pull it up here. I'll pull it up and share my screen. Gas prices are through the roof, Dad. We did the show just the other day talking about gas prices, and it was what, $4.60, $4.70, what, for $4?
$4.67 was just like 3 days ago. So it's gone up 14 cents in 3 days.
Like,
Which,
what?
I mean, Viagra doesn't work that fast.
Dad.
What?
We literally did here. We did. Let me share this screen really quickly. We did the stream 2 days ago. Give me 1 second. And I screenshotted that $4.72 stream
Okay.
2 days ago.
Okay.
2 days ago.
And like 3 or 4 days ago, it was 4.67 when I did the stream, I think with Phil. It's just it's insanity. I can't think of anything that I've witnessed in the recent past that has gone up quite as quickly as that. I really haven't. And prices on everything are going up. Prices on food, prices on cars, interest rates on loans. But that, I mean, it is. Gas is food obviously is a necessity. Housing is a necessity. Gasoline for most people in most parts of the country is a necessity because in a lot of the country, you don't have good public transportation systems. You're fortunate enough, you live in Washington, D.C. They have a fairly decent metro system. I believe they switched back to the nice cars again, the nice
Haven't
trains.
seen them still, but
Okay,
I'll report back when we do.
Well, there's a rumor that they're going to, and they're the ones spreading the rumor, by the way. So, how are people supposed to afford everything? And I sound like a broken record because we say this week in and week out, day in and day out. But if the average new car monthly payment is $698 and the average term is 71 months, okay, and gas just keeps going up, so that people are probably spending maybe close to $200 a month in gasoline. Then you have your insurance on top of that. Then you have your maintenance on top of that. Then you have you might not have depreciation at the moment, but when we do, that depreciation is going to be massive because everybody's been overpaying for everything. I just don't know how the average American is supposed to buy a car, drive a car, own a car, pay for the damn thing.
I'm looking at all the different fuel prices that are coming in here. Dad, Neil's got $5.05 in Central PA. That's a bargain. $4.55 in Albertson, New York. That's fantastic. Our dear friend Space Mario, $6.52.
And that's at Costco, I believe. And so that's probably a good 20 to 30 cents a gallon cheaper than that's your just regular run-of-the-mill gas station that happens to be on every corner.
I'm just Michael Preston here in the chat, Dad, saying he spends $700 a month in gas.
Oh my God. What's 7 times 12?
A lot of money. And Dad, you shared this with me.
6 times 12 would be 72. So that's $8,400 a year that he's spending on gas. And what was the average cost of gas on this date a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was? It might have been half what it is today. A year ago, it was okay. So, my God, it's $1.77 more a gallon today. So the $8,200 or $8,400 he's spending this year, he would have been spending 2/3 of that last year, and 2 years ago probably half of it. That is just, that's an enormous burden on people.
Dad, the other thing that you shared with me recently, and I'll pull it up here on the screen. Give me 1 second. This was from Automotive News, their By the Numbers section each week. They put this out. Folks are just spending more and more and more.
This is used cars.
Used vehicle buyers with indirect loans arranged by car dealerships in April agreed to pay $90 more per month and do so for an additional 2 months compared with the previous year, April 2022. Borrowers did have slightly lower interest rates, though. The average interest rate in April on a used car was 8%.
Yes.
Monthly payment of $544 over a 71-month term. We're stretching terms out longer, even higher monthly payments. Then you add on all of that fuel cost.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, it's really, really quite remarkable.
Like I say, I don't know how people do it. I really don't. Yeah.
All right, let's pull up a couple questions that are coming through the chat. Pops Winfield says, does paying cash help lower price on a vehicle purchase, or do dealers prefer financing?
I will help you with that. Dealers hate cash deals because they make money when they do the indirect financing and help place a loan. The bank will pay them a finder's fee for placing the loan. Dealers absolutely hate cash deals. It limits their potential back end income. Cash buyers tend not to buy as many products in the finance and insurance office as finance customers do, because in most cases in finance, you just add it to the payment, and is that payment comfortable for you? Don't you want all that protection? It's only an extra $40 a month. Certainly you can afford an extra $10 a week. Obviously, if you cut out one Coca-Cola a day, you can afford that. All those
it's almost
extra,
like you've done it before.
You're supposed to reduce it to the ridiculous.
Pops Mike Dean reminding us that is why you get pre-approved from your local credit union and avoid indirect loans. So instead of getting the financing through the dealership, or just to have leverage before you go to the dealership to have them place a loan for you, you go and you visit a local credit union.
And oftentimes, many credit unions are part of the credit union dealer network, Cuddle, and the dealer can still get a piece of it for having written the loan. So
Sean reminded us here, his credit union is still offering 1.89% for up to 36 months. Pretty incredible that there are awesome interest rates still out there. And Igor, good to see Igor. Some dealerships will not sell you a car if they know you're not financing. We have heard more and more and
stories
more
like that. Yes, especially in Texas.
Which is a very good reminder that if you purchase a vehicle and they force you, and I'm going to say force, but you need to buy the vehicle, then you end up having to finance through the dealership, refinance out of it, make sure there's no prepayment penalty, then you should be good to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Another interesting question here. We're going to spend time in the chat. Please just ask your questions. Pops, I don't know about you. I just want to do questions tonight and help people. Okay, that's we do the news so often.
Yeah,
we do the news. It's the same shtick. Ford's doing whatever.
It's crappy news day after day, and then people get mad at us because, well, we're sharing crappy news. Well, if we had something positive this year, we'd share.
So we're gonna do positive. We're just gonna do the chat tonight. We're gonna do an hour of chat. This will be fun.
Yeah,
okay?
The whole reason we were founded was to help people. So let's help people. Damn it!
I like the way that sounds. I wish I had a.
Whoa! Did you feel that jolt of electricity?
We gotta move, man. We gotta move.
Wrong channel. What can I tell you, buddy?
Does manufacturing financing benefit the dealer?
Yes.
Quick answers, Pops. Quick answers.
Only quick answers? Are these one-word answers? Yes, because even the captive lenders pay the dealer for having written a loan.
All right. We've got here, why in Texas, with your comment about financing through the dealership?
I don't know, but there seems to be more situations, more dealers in Texas. And that's the first state that we heard of it, where the dealers would absolutely say to customers, we're not selling you the car if you don't finance for us. We're not interested in you paying cash. We don't care how you want to pay for it. If you want to buy it, you're going to finance it through us. And we've seen more of that in Texas than elsewhere. And
Brian,
while you're asking the next question, I have to pull out a hearing aid. I just do, because there's too much feedback.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad.
Well, not now. Better? There's no feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Brian says you typically can't pay off a loan oh my God, I butchered the hell out of that, Brian. This
You
is
can
rough.
typically pay it off in 90 to 120 days without penalty, which in reality is not so. Okay.
Yeah, explain. Please explain.
In the reason dealers will tell you that you have to keep the loan for 90 or 120 days is so that they won't get charged back from the lender for the extra money that they got for placing the loan. Okay. So if there is no prepayment penalty built into the loan, you could pay it off the day after you took out the loan. The problem would be the dealer's problem, because whatever the reserve that they earned in finance would be, well, wiped away. And so that's why finance managers in most dealerships will tell you, oh yeah, you can pay it off after 90 days. Yeah, because after 90 days, there's no chargeback. Okay. There's not 100% chargeback. In the first 90 days, it's 100% chargeback. After 90 days, it's a prorated chargeback. So that's why. Thank you, Brian. Though that was very nice of you to admit that it's true.
All right, so let's keep running through here. Pops Joe wants your opinion on Japanese luxury cars.
Is this for the Japanese market or for here? Listen, we've known for years and years and years that the Asian brands tend to make a higher quality vehicle. I will share a brief story because I know we're supposed to be taking chat messages here. But the brief story is, when at one time I owned a Golf USA franchise in Mesa, Arizona, my store was about 2.5 miles from the General Motors proving grounds when they were in Arizona. And I used to get a lot of the engineers there were golfers. So they would all come to the store and they would always drive different cars. And finally, one day I asked one of the engineers, I said, why do you have all these different cars? He says, because we buy them, we tear them down. We want to see what the components are that are in the car, how those components are made, and how well the cars are put together. And I said, so after all that, what's the best built cars that you have torn down? And without hesitation, the answer was Lexus. Okay. The Asian brands do a better job typically in quality control, fit and finish, and the quality of the components that they utilize. At least back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Tommy, I saw your question from before, so I'll pull it up here. Locally, pre-owned BMW X7s are dropping $6,000 to $9,000, start of a correction. Can you talk a little bit, Dad, about why this is actually probably not the norm, but we have seen in the Black Book data this particular segment of vehicle plummeting in value?
Well, one of the reasons would be is the X7 doesn't get particularly good gas mileage. And the vehicles that are taking it on the chin, so to speak, as far as wholesale values are concerned, and some retail values, are your less fuel efficient, bigger vehicles. And the X7 falls nicely into that category. And well, the damn thing was overpriced to begin with.
Let's keep moving here, Dad. Joel says, can you pay early on a dealer finance loan? And that's what our conversation with Brian was. You absolutely can. Do not be intimidated by it. You're likely going to hear that you can't, but read the contract.
Yeah,
more than likely you
just make sure there's no prepayment penalty, or if there is a prepayment penalty, understand what that prepayment penalty is.
We've got here from Sean. Pops, do you see truck prices coming down with higher gas prices and higher interest rates?
I would think that would happen at some point. And the reason I say that is, if gas is going to go up 10 cents a gallon every 2 days, at a certain point, these vehicles that are only getting 15 to 20 miles to the gallon are suddenly going to look less attractive. And when that begins to happen, when the market wanes on those type of vehicles, dealers will revert back to what they know best. And that is to lower the price to make it compelling enough for somebody to buy it. We're going to save you enough up front so that you can afford the gas it's going to take to be able to drive that truck. So, yes, I would not be surprised to see that happen.
Overpay for a new vehicle now or drive a $3,000 Craigslist special until prices come back down. LOL. Pops, how about on the count of three, we both say our answers?
Okay.
1. Well, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, new vehicle at MSRP?
Well, that would be my choice because if you buy a
You didn't say
3,000
anything. You were
oh,
supposed to say something.
new vehicle at MSRP, because a $3,000 Craigslist special is probably going to drain your bank account when you try to keep it together, because it's going to need a few things.
Yeah, likely it will.
Yes.
Big Boys asking Zach, would like your honest opinion. Do you think Toyota's leisurely stroll into the EV market will help or hurt them in, say, 5 years in the future? I think it's probably going to help them considerably. I think more people care about they care about the cost to get from point A to point B. They don't care if it's hybrid or battery powered or gasoline powered. And I bet you Toyota continues to crush it when it comes to reliability and fuel efficiency for their hybrid powertrains.
And they've been producing hybrids for a long time.
Yeah, they really, really are.
Yes.
Mark says, Pops, are dealers hindered by or do they benefit from manufacturer promotional finance rates?
Typically, finance managers hate the promotional finance rates because it limits their ability to make additional reserve for having marked up the interest rate. So I used to use it as it was a way to make it easy to get somebody to say yes on the car. And then, unfortunately, the finance person, well, they actually had to do their job and create enough value in the products that they were selling for somebody to want to buy them, not just us creating profit for them because they could mark up the interest rate.
Scott wants to know, were you able to get the electronics insurance deal yet for us to purchase? Yes, Scott. It's actually 100% approved with the exception of California and Florida. I think we have all other states. Oh, and maybe Massachusetts as well. We plan to start doing marketing of that next week. But Scott, if you send me an email, zach@joinyaa.com, either tonight or tomorrow, I can send you over the rate sheet so you can see what it would cost. Everything's going to be under $1,000 for every type of vehicle. And that's going to protect all the tech and electronics. It goes above and beyond the mechanical extended warranty that we've been able to sell, which is pretty cool. Excited
Absolutely. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, Pops. Barry wants to know, Subaru dealer is charging $3,000 over MSRP for a 2022 Forester. Is that reasonable?
Not in my mind. Anything over MSRP in my mind is not reasonable. And I know there are any number of dealers that will disagree with me. But if you're in this for the long term, you'll realize that you're better off not taking advantage of that customer today so that, I don't know, maybe they'll want to do business with you again in the future, as opposed to raking them over the coals today and having them wake up one day and go, I ain't ever going back there. God bless you. Did you hit the sneeze button?
I did hit the sneeze button.
Bless your heart.
Sean wants to know, hey, Zach, what does David Chow have to say? I haven't heard from David in about a month now. I know he was going over to Europe to work with a couple different clients on some of the supply chain issues that they were facing. I haven't heard from David, so no readout on his perspective for what's coming next in the supply chain and logistics part of the equation. Is prepaying for maintenance a good idea, Dad?
Oftentimes,
can you explain what it is?
Well, it exactly as it just said. You're prepaying for the maintenance. You're paying for the maintenance package up front. Now, two things happen when you do that. Typically, the maintenance costs are less if you buy the package than if you were to pay for it as you need it. Typically, and you're using today's dollars to do it, and with inflation, it might take more dollars to do it in the future. So you're hedging against inflation when you buy a maintenance package up front. I'm not going to tell you that you're getting the maintenance at a wholesale figure, but it's somewhere between wholesale and retail. When you prepay for it like that. And typically those programs are sponsored by the manufacturer. I know Mini and BMW have great maintenance programs, and they're typically a very, very good value for people who tend to want to keep their cars a long time, especially once the free maintenance is over and the warranty ends.
And I learned from someone early when we started working on bringing the extended warranty to market. I was talking to people who sell these ancillary products. maintenance plans, prepaid maintenance plans are a perfect customer retention tool. Like that was
Absolutely.
originally why they were designed, was to get customers to come
Yeah.
back to the dealership time and time again. So there is a value there. Just recognize that they also serve the business need, which is, hey, we're going to have you in the service lane and we're going to try and upsell, cross-sell, etc. Which is fine.
But the beautiful thing is at that point, it's paid for by the manufacturer. They're not asking you to reach into your pocket. You already did that, so that they're going to get reimbursed by the manufacturer at that point.
Huge shout out to Brian here. They sell. Do you remember his dealership name, Pops?
It is.
It's a Mazda dealership outside
Pacifico
Philly.
Mazda on Essington Avenue in southeast Philadelphia.
They're
near
selling
the
at
air.
MSRP.
Yeah, it's near the airport. God bless them for doing that. Not all. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe all the Pacifico stores are doing that. But your store is doing that, and your manager should be commended for doing that.
All right, Pops. Kiona wants to know, we're on the Mazda theme. I want to buy a Mazda CX-9. Is it a good purchase, and why? You've owned some Mazdas in the past, Ed. What's your take on this?
Well, you drove it. What did you think?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a Mazda 3. We had a Mazda 3 that I bought for you many years ago. It was a very serviceable vehicle, very comfortable. I think my personal opinion of Mazda, and you can agree with me or disagree with me, but I think Mazda gives you an awful lot of car for the buck. You get a lot of bang for the buck. You get really good quality. I don't know too many people that have had any real issues with Mazda. Now, that's not to say that there aren't people out there that have had issues with Mazda, because every brand has issues at one time or another. But it's always represented a good value and a good quality vehicle, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. And I am sure that Brian would agree.
Yeah, I bet you would. And I bet you there's a lot of people out there driving CX-9s in the Philly area that are happy that they bought it at MSRP.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Pops. Neil wants to know, buying from a private seller, what are your thoughts? We don't talk about that too much on the channel, and I know I've talked to you a bit in the past about it. I'm curious, share with us, what's your take on buying from a private seller?
If you buy from a private seller, I know that most people think, that they're going to get a much better bargain. That type of purchase requires a pre-purchase inspection more than any other. I am not going to sit here and tell you that a private seller isn't going to lie to you about the condition of their vehicle. There's several ways to lie. You can lie through commission and lie through omission. They just might forget to tell you about certain things on the vehicle. And if you don't figure it out on your own, well, that's on you. So just be careful. Oftentimes, people will misrepresent their vehicle that they're selling. Oftentimes they try and do that at a dealership when they try to trade it in. So you need to be on your A game when you're buying a private party sale. You need to get a pre-purchase inspection done. You need to make sure they're the ones that actually own it and have a title in their name, so that they can actually be the one to sell it to you and sign the title over to you.
Yeah, those are big considerations. And I know you mentioned that, lie by commission, omission. They just might not even know something that you're going to want to know if you're going to spend all that money to purchase it. Pops, whoops, here we go from Sam. Super thoughtful contribution.
Thank you, Sam.
That, Sam. Will it be a good idea to keep paying the monthly lease and buy the car at the end of the lease and pay taxes on $21,000 rather than buying halfway through the lease and pay taxes on $30,300?
Do the math. I mean, what's the tax rate? And it seems like the taxes would be a lot less at $21,000 as opposed to $30,000. If it were just say 6%, there's about a $600 savings in sales tax. Now, here's the other thing that you have to look at, that you're going to need to factor in. How many payments do you have left on the lease? How many more months are there on the lease? And then what's the likelihood of what interest rates will be at that time when you might want to buy it? The interest rates will be lower today than, say, 6 months from now, or 9 months from now, or a year from now, because the Fed has committed to raising interest rates several more times this year. So you need to factor all that into it to see which makes the most sense. If there's enough savings in the interest that's going to be paid over the life of the loan, and that savings would be greater than, say, the $600 tax savings, then it would make sense to do it now. If the finance savings are
Interesting.
less than that, then you wait.
Yeah, good point, Pops. Really, really good point.
That's
We've got
why I was in the business. That was the type of advice I used to give to customers when they would ask me a question. Well, let's do the math. Let's try and figure it out.
Let's keep running through them. There's so many good questions here. Jack says, why not Florida on the electronics warranty? Unfortunately, we just have to, it takes more time to get the paperwork approved in the state of Florida. Same with California, same with Massachusetts. But as soon as we do, obviously, we'll be sure to let everyone know. We've got Dad here. Let's answer this on the same leasing trend. Kiki, he says, hey, is it worth leasing cars? I was looking at getting a Toyota Corolla Cross or 4Runner, never leased a car or financed a car. It will be my first time. And then this is why I pulled this up. My credit score is 653, but I have a stable government job. Can you talk a little bit, Dad? Answer the question. Obviously,
Yes.
You've taught me in the past to lease. You actually typically need a higher credit score than to finance, correct?
Typically, to lease, you need better credit than you do to finance. And the reason for that is the bank is assuming typically close to 100% liability on the lease vehicle, because typically people don't put a lot of money down on a lease. If you're like me, you don't put any money down on a lease. So the bank's exposure is a little greater, and so they require a better credit rating than people who finance. Now, having said that, there's not a lot of good lease deals out there right now. When lease deals were really good, it was because the manufacturer was underwriting them to a large degree. Okay, they were supporting them either with subvented rates or big incentives to raise up the residual values so that the depreciation would be less. I don't know that manufacturers are still doing that today. Well, I do know they're not doing that today because that's the cost of doing business. And with a shortage of cars, that's a cost that they've decided not to bear anymore.
Yeah, absolutely, Pops. Absolutely. All right, we've got so many great questions in here. Parhelion says, does Ford not have the option to just completely abandon the dealers if they give them too much trouble and open their own service centers / use the loopholes Tesla does to deliver cars? I don't want to dive too deep into this because the short answer is no. It's going to be really challenging for them to do that. However, Justin on our team, who also runs the YAA Electric channel, if you're not watching YAA Electric, Google search it, YouTube search it, subscribe to that channel. He's got a deep dive piece on why dealerships exist. All the laws, the history, everything, probably why they'll stick around for decades to come. That should be going live on our blog either this week or the following week. So when that is live, please, please, please be subscribed to the newsletter. Go to joinyaa.com and read that piece because it'll explain why Ford likely will never be able to do what Tesla did.
Listen, when dealers enter into a franchise agreement, it's usually 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, because the manufacturer is typically asking the dealer principal to invest, I don't know, somewhere between $8 and God knows how many millions of dollars to build a facility. Well, who's going to build that facility, make that investment if the factory can just turn around and say, we're terminating the agreement? Doesn't work like that. So no, Ford can't just say, oh, the hell with the dealers, as much as they might like to.
From Fergamore, I saw the first time you posted this, but thank you for being persistent. Can I tell a dealership I don't want any warranties? Will they abide? I'm excited to answer this one, but go ahead, Pops.
Well, when you say I don't want any warranties, you're not talking about the factory warranty that comes with the car, because of course you want that. Can you tell a dealer that you don't want to buy any additional warranties, whether it be for a vehicle service contract, or in California, mechanical breakdown and protection, or it might be a tire and wheel coverage, or it might be dent and ding coverage? Can you tell them you don't want any of those things? Yes, you can. Do you have to be persistent? Yes, you do. Because the finance manager, that's how the finance manager makes their money, by selling these products. So they're going to use all their skills to get you to say yes. But,
And I think it's important to note here, it was the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act. It was passed by Congress back in 1975. And the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act is why we call it vehicle service contracts and not warranties. There are
yes.
two entities that can offer warranties: the manufacturer of a good and the
Mhm.
retailer of the good. And so frequently what you'll see is a manufacturer's warranty, 3 years, 36,000 miles. Hyundai for the powertrain is 10 years, 100,000 miles there, right? And then you'll typically see the retailer offer some sort of warranty, not for new cars, but with used cars. CarMax offers one. What is it? 30 days and 1,000 miles. Carvana
Something like,
offers
yeah.
one. Those warranties, never say no to those. They come with it. They
Yes.
come with it. The warranties that are actually service contracts, mechanical breakdown insurance, the things they want to, you can say no to those all day long. Will some dealerships in this market not sell it to you? Yeah, potentially. But I'd imagine you're still going to have decent luck being able to say no to those.
Yes, I would think so.
All right, Pops. Mo Dollars says, do you think buying a Corvette Z06 is a good investment in the long run, seeing how high regular gas prices are regular prices are for the regular Corvette? What's your take on this? And neither of us are speculators by any stretch, but do you see some cars like the Z06 appreciating like
Well,
some sports cars do?
Right now, just about everything's appreciating. Now, will that eventually come to an end? And then how long are we talking about holding the car to be able to get a return on that investment? Are there other investment instruments that you could look at that might get you the same type of return, only more quickly? So, if what you want to do is enjoy the vehicle, you want to buy it so you can enjoy it and hope that it appreciates, that's a completely different story. But don't buy it because you're just hopeful that it's going to appreciate, and that's a good way to invest your money. Anybody that tells you buying a car is an investment, it's the same. Here, let me set it up for you. If you go to an automobile dealership and you buy a car for $40,000, pretty much in the past, that $40,000 car in about 4 years, 3 to 4 years, is going to be worth $20,000 in the past. If you went to a stockbroker and he said, Zach, I got this great plan for you. Give me $40,000 today, just between you and me, I'll show you how to turn it into 20 in 4 years. What do you think? It's not an investment. A car is not an investment, and please never look at it as one.
Pops, Fergamore is back in all caps. We got to keep moving, man. We got to keep
okay.
I'm just going to remind you, Dad. I'm just going to remind you.
Whoa, did you feel that jolt of electricity?
I did. Yeah.
Is $6,000 a good down payment if I want to buy a $35,000 SUV?
Is it a good down payment? It's better than $5,000 or $4,000 or $3,000. Is it enough not to get gap insurance? Probably not. Are you paying more than MSRP for the car plus fees? Fees are typically about 10% of what you're buying, and $6,000 down on a $35,000 car plus fees, you're at about 14-15% down. So it's a nice down payment, but it's not a big enough down payment to where you shouldn't look at gap insurance. You should, by all means, think about gap insurance with that type of down payment.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, Pops. Do you see $7 a gallon gas this year, and are electric cars a solution?
Well, I think in California, more than likely, we'll see $7 a gallon gasoline, and that'll be before the end of the year.
If space is already at $6.52, it might be this month that we see $7 gasoline.
And are electric cars a solution? Well, all the manufacturers are betting dollars to donuts that they are. But having said that, the draw on the electric grid, if there's way more electric cars being charged, then that could become an even bigger issue. Last time I checked, and I don't know if they have any planned for this year, but last time I checked, last year, I don't know, California goes through these periods where they have rolling brownouts and blackouts. Well,
Yep.
guess what's not getting charged when you're in one of those? When you have one of those. So is electric the solution? I think electric vehicles are part of what might be the solution. Personally, I think hybrids are a better solution, at least for the time being.
Boom. You took the words out of my mouth. Right now, hybrids are incredible. Seems like we have the capacity to produce more of them. Also, I'm going to be out, not next week, but the week after that. Can't wait, because I think you're going to do some of the shows with Justin Pops. Justin, again, is YAA Electric. And Justice, who's here in the chat. Hey, Justice, thanks for being here. I could see Justice join you for a few shows, who also joins Justin on the YAA Electric channel. Be some interesting conversations.
Don't you leave on the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the date's the
Igor's over
4th.
on YA Electric.
Yeah, God bless Igor. He when it comes to our channels, he's like horse poop. He's everywhere. Okay, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that he's a big part of what we're trying to do. And this is somebody that has spent a lifetime in the automobile business and really knows the ins and outs of the business better than I do in a lot of cases, because he was an owner. And I was just a dumbass manager. I never got to the point where I owned one of these things. So that the way he supports us and supports the communities and the viewers, it's phenomenal what he does for all of us.
Yep, absolutely. Melissa, Zach, are we going to be the last man standing, being only state not able to purchase extended warranty through YAA? Yeah. Sorry, Melissa.
Why is that?
So, and this will be a brief, everyone can learn as I've learned this. Different states think of extended warranties, which we just described actually are not extended warranties. They're vehicle service contracts. They think of them differently. So in about 40-ish states, they're considered not an insurance product, and you can file them as a motor club product. So it's not an insurance product. The filings are very simple. It's not that complex. In some other states, it's a bit more gray, but they're still not insurance products. And then there are states like Florida, Washington State is actually one of them, California and Massachusetts, where they're just they set it up differently. Service contracts are entirely different. For example, in California, they actually don't have a concept of a vehicle service contract. You actually can only sell a vehicle service contract if you're a car dealer in the state of California. So that's interesting, because you could buy a service contract. So people sell mechanical breakdown insurance in California instead. Massachusetts just has a very strict governing book for how service contracts get approved. And because we don't have a ton of demand in Massachusetts, sorry, Melissa, we have very little effect on AUL, the company that we work with, our administrator, to be able to get them to actually do all the paperwork to get it approved. So it's pretty interesting. Every state treats them differently.
There you have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going through the chat here. Pops, so many good comments and questions. Bullet Bar, thank you for the contribution. Gas is over $9 in Mendocino, California.
Well, you know where we're not going anytime soon?
To Mendocino or Mendocino.
Or maybe even California. Damn, that's expensive.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
Sandy in the chat saying, nice glasses, Ray. Better to see us with. Yeah, I'd say so.
Well,
You
absolutely.
look good in those glasses.
Well, thank you. And I might add, they work. Damn it, they work. I can see long distances really clear, and I can read up close really clear. I don't have to take them on and off. It's a wonderful thing. And as your sister said, she said, "Those are pretty hip, Dad." And, well, I think they are.
Dan, any chance of a VSC on a Ford Excursion? Love you guys and try and catch you as often as I can. This will be for tonight, the final extended warranty VSC thing, because I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. In your Google machine, type in YAA extended warranty. He said Ford Excursion, right?
He did.
and then wait for it to load.
Yeah.
Wait for it to load. Okay,
Wait
there we go.
Wait a little longer. Yeah.
Let's do 2019 Ford. We said Excursion.
I think that's what he said.
Do we really not have Excursion? How do we not have Excursion?
Well, of course, maybe they're so old. When was the last time they made
when
the
was the last
Excursion?
time they? Let's go back. We gotta have Excursion.
Do you?
Didn't I just trip? All right, let's go forward. We got to. How do we wait? Sorry, I thought this was gonna be quick, but now I want to find a Ford Excursion.
Oh, I think somebody on your team's about to get an email.
Oh, they're just old. They're just older. They're
Yeah.
just older. Okay, so let me grab a VIN. All right.
Yeah, they haven't.
How is this, Dad? 2004 Ford Excursion, 172,000 miles for 21 grand.
Well, that dealership believes what P.T. Barnum said, which is that there's a sucker born every minute.
Also, I forgot to mention. Yeah, go ahead.
And they're waiting on that sucker.
That's insane, man. I forgot to mention on our vehicle search, if you scroll down, it actually tells you what the extended warranty cost is right there. So yes, you can. It's just $3,000 for 3 years and 36 months. So yeah, a little cheaper. So yes, you can. There you go.
Okay. Good job, you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Let me come back up here. Wow, everyone's being so kind to us tonight, Pops. We've got here from Fegamore. Thanks for all the help. God bless. How do you pronounce that, Pops?
Buena suerte.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fegamore. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. That was very kind of you.
And then I saw Alicia? Thank you, Alicia. Yeah. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Yeah, of course. Yeah. This gives us something to do on Saturday nights, Pops.
Well, you're 26. You should have other things to do on a Saturday. You have a girlfriend. You should have other things to do on a Saturday night. You don't need me.
We had a very nice date together. It was very, very nice.
Well, it looked like it. I saw you shared a picture with me. Yeah.
I got new shoes. I'll show everyone my shoes. Yeah. Shannon, thank you. Saturday evening stream is one of the highlights of my week. That's very thoughtful. Very kind.
That is, but I feel bad for Shannon. If this is a highlight, please.
JR says, will it be better to wait until the fall to purchase a vehicle, or do you believe prices will continue to be this high for new vehicles? So new vehicles specifically, Pops.
I think the dilemma with new vehicles is at the moment, the manufacturers are having great difficulty in producing vehicles in the numbers that they need to produce them. The demand for the vehicles has not necessarily dropped that much. It's the availability of the vehicles has dropped. So depending upon what happens economically between now and the end of the year, economic pressures could bring pricing down if, as one of the headlines I read today is consumer confidence is a little better than what some economists think at the moment. Then any anticipated recession might be delayed longer, or maybe it won't be as deep or as severe as what some economists are thinking. So here's the real problem. Huh. We buy our crystal ball at the dollar store. There's a reason they're only $1.
Pops, I think you're missing one important piece in the answer to this question.
Okay, then help me.
And I'll pull this up from John here. He says, from Cincinnati, work for a Ford dealer. Crazy times with how customers are stopping by daily and all new cars are sold. I love your informative show, fun show. Keep up the good work. It depends what brand.
Yes. If
you're trying to buy a Stellantis product right now, a Jeep, if you're trying to buy a Jeep, go buy the Jeep. Go negotiate. Go find the dealer. If you're going to buy a Ram, go buy a Ram. You're going to buy a Ford. You can't buy a Ford right now. You can't buy a new Ford. You can't buy a new Honda. You can't buy a new Toyota. You can't buy a new Subaru.
Yeah.
Can't buy a new Hyundai. So I think a lot of it depends on.
Well, you can buy it. You just have to wait for it to come in. Okay. I mean, many of these brands that you mentioned will be more than happy to take a refundable deposit for you on an incoming vehicle. Now, the incoming vehicle could be 2 months away or 6 months away, whatever it is. I mean, when we talked with Marcello in Canada at the Toyota
Okay.
dealership he ran, I mean, they were telling people it's 6 to 12 months out for any cars that they leave deposits on. So if you're willing to wait, you can get a car. You just have to wait. If you need a car right now, the likelihood of finding what you want on a dealer's lot has been dramatically reduced.
Let's spend a minute on this question here from Edgar Pops. Which brands do you think would take MSRP? While you're answering that, I'll actually try and find that article that talked about the percentage of MSRP that different brands were selling at. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
And I got it right here. You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say it's just, probably every brand, if you find the right dealer. And it means in today's world, you're going to have to work harder to find a dealership like Brian, who works at Pacifico in Philadelphia, Pacifico Mazda, as opposed to the Pacifico Mazda in Broomall, which is a different owner. The one in Broomall doesn't sell the cars at MSRP. The one in Philadelphia does. So there are dealers out there that are not going to try and clobber you or take advantage of the situation. But you have to work hard to find them. It might require a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of whatever. Elbow grease, as my father used to call it. He used to take me to the hardware store and he'd tell me, he said, here's a buck, go in and see if you can buy $1 worth of elbow grease.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting lots of extended warranty questions. You guys do an AUL. Do you offer Reserve Care Plus unlimited time? No, we don't have an unlimited time product right now, but do check out the website. You can literally call us, leave us a voicemail, because I don't think anyone's going to answer tonight. We'll call you back. We will help as much as we can. Pops, this from Shannon.
Yes.
I work in semiconductor manufacturing. We were told at a communications meeting that all product produced this year and next year at our facility is already sold. Majority of our product goes to automotive. Can't be too surprised to hear that.
Well, that's good news. That is good news in that the majority of the product sold and the majority of that product is going to automotive, which at a certain point, if we don't enter into a recession, will allow the manufacturers to produce more cars than they have been. We have discussed it any number of times, but one of the things that you have to realize is that 2.5 years ago, the average monthly new car availability on dealers' lots was about 4 million cars. For the last several months, that number has been running at around 900,000 cars. Thank you, George. So we need the manufacturers to be able to produce more cars, and if those chips are meant for automotive, perhaps we will actually see that happen, which would be a wonderful thing for consumers, because perhaps at that point we can bring pricing down somewhat.
Absolutely, Pops. Absolutely. Mark here with a question. Ray, you had Chevy Dude on a few months ago. Now he is on his own.
Yes.
Any chance of getting another interview with him to see how he is doing? Don't mean to change the subject tonight. Mo Dollar is saying, yes, would love to see Chevy Dude back on the channel to talk about his new dealership. I literally grabbed my phone. I'm going to text Mike right now and ask him and say, hey, do you want to do an interview this week? Come on the show. I think it'd be awesome. He went out and started his own independent used car dealership.
Yes.
After obviously leaving the Chevy dealership that he was at. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to get Mike on and hear how things are going.
Absolutely. And we also need to get AMD back on to see how things are going. Yeah, to see how things are going with his new shop. Yes, service.
We got to make it out to Chicago area this year, Dad, and check out his shop. I'd really like to.
Well, I like Chicago.
I know. Blue Malnati's, I know.
They got great food. I could go to Portillo's and get a Italian beef. I'm in. Let's go. But you're traveling. All you do is travel. I mean, you're. I don't know. Well, See if
vamping. I'm typing to Mike.
Well, see if you can find a couple days, where you're not somewhere other than God knows where.
Pops, Norman says another YouTube channel suggested walking into the dealership with a cashier's check and making up any difference with a personal check. Is this a good idea?
Yeah, if you'd like him to escort you out. One of the things we talked about in the beginning was somebody asked, cash or finance. Dealers hate cash. Okay. A cashier's check is cash. A personal check is cash. What they want you to do is they want you to finance the car. So, is that a good idea? They might not treat you as nicely as somebody that says, yeah, I want to finance my car. So just be prepared for that. There was a time in history where the phrase was cash is king. Okay. Now, if we go into a depression or a recession, cash will be king again. You just keep it under your mattress. But for dealerships, cash is not king. Cash costs them money. Okay. They would much rather you finance a car. So there you have it. Sorry to be the
Pops,
bearer of bad tidings.
Mark shared with us a thoughtful contribution, and those super stickers typically have some sort of emoji
dancing stuff.
Wait. Give me a second.
Yeah.
What type of mood are you in?
I'm in a green mood, buddy. I'm wearing my CFO green, and I was told that's a good color on me.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. That's the super sticker, ladies and gentlemen. That's what that super sticker looks like.
Okay, so here's the deal. If we get any... This is like, I'm so glad we're not talking about freaking Ford right now. If anyone makes contributions, we will play a new loop and a new dance. I think I've got 6 loops
Truth be told, if we never mention Jim Farley's name again, it'll be too soon.
If we wouldn't get copyrighted, I would play Lean With It, Rock With It. I would love to see my dad dance to that. Yeah. Okay, and I literally did just text Mike, Oh, he texted me back. He said, yeah, I can. Great.
Okay, cool.
I'll text you when I'm not when we are not live, and we can coordinate.
Perfect. Look at that. People ask, we give them. What you ask for stuff, we try our best to provide it.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. Okay, let me come back here, Pops. We've got a couple other comments that I think we should address. From Sean, do you see manufacturers want to get back to the $4 million on the lot? $4 million on the lot. They are selling for more than before. You've said in the past you think they probably want to be about double where they currently are, which would be around
1.8 to 2 million. Yes. I think that's what they now would consider to be the sweet spot. And what I mean by that is that would allow dealers to have enough on-hand inventory for those people who want to come in whatever day of the week it is and go home in a new car. There would be something for them to buy, but there wouldn't be so much inventory that the carrying costs would be burdensome.
Absolutely. Tommy is spot on. Just figured it out. Pops's new glasses can see the future. I think you are correct.
I don't know that I can see the future, but I can certainly see better.
Ducky Dalbino. Anyway, I'm in California. Is it worth buying a new car from another state to try and get a better deal, especially with out-of-state fees? This is a good and interesting question, Pops. You used to sell cars in Arizona. I feel like you dealt with a lot of people from California who probably came to Arizona to buy cars, or am I mistaken?
Well, most of the incentives that we had when I was with Acura at the time were more localized than that, and California people did not qualify for the incentives that we had for Acura in our area. But now there's not a whole lot of incentives. You're going to end up paying your California sales taxes and registration and all those fees, but there might be enough savings out of state if you can find the vehicle to make it worthwhile.
And if the dealer's even willing to sell it to you out of state, because a lot of them aren't doing that right
Yes.
now. Pops.
Yes.
Punished Mallard. Thank you for the contribution. We have a loop that I will be putting on in just a moment. Been saving up money since the demic. All your content is prepping me for when I buy a 2022 Civic in Socal. Ugh.
Ugh.
Pray for me. Thank you, guys. Well, glad that we're able to help in some small way. Space,
Well,
Mario and the team should.
What I'm going to pray for you is that you don't get caught when you rob the bank, because that's what it's going to take to pay for that Civic right now in California. There's such a shortage of Civics, and they're overcharging so much in market adjustments for them. So my prayer for you is that you don't get caught if you rob that bank. But hopefully you might be able to find a dealer that will at least only charge you MSRP.
And again, Space, Mario on our team. If you post on the community forum, you become
help.
a YAA member. SoCal, I know he's got that area covered. NoCal, I know Justice on our team is up there.
Yeah.
Melissa said that sounds like Bow Chicka Wow Wow music. Well, Melissa, I think this one might be a little better.
I think this is the type of stuff your mother and I used to listen to.
Like when you were doing the thing, or just in general?
What? Doing the thing? How can you ask a question like that? Yeah, I think we did it twice, and we ended up with 2 kids. What the hell can I tell you?
Oh my God! All right, Ducky Talmino, thank you for the contribution.
Yeah.
God.
You.
All right,
Thank
I
you
got
very
another
much.
loop.
Okay.
You want another loop?
Sure. We got to do it. You got any cowboy music for me?
Yeah, that's next. You got to be careful, Dad. When you raise your arm like that, you could like dislocate your shoulder. I just want you to be careful.
Tear my labrum. Yeah.
Pops turned red instantly. No, I think he just got some.
I got some sun today, and I might have turned a little red.
All right, Dad. Let's keep going through the chat here. Michael says, Zach, is a 2022 Lexus NX 250 made in Japan selling at MSRP for $40,000 worth it? It has a 2.5 liter non-turbo engine. Will you buy it if you are in Hawaii? If you can get any car at MSRP in Hawaii.
Yeah, buy it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be incredible. All right, we've got here from Ducky again. Do you think it's better to buy a 2018 or 2019 used vehicle from a dealership, or try and find a way to purchase new?
Find a way to purchase new. You're going to way overpay for a 2018 or a 2019 used at the moment.
Nella says, how is the value of your vehicle determined at the end of a lease if you want to sell? Black Book, KBB, and then I've got a follow on to this one, Pops.
Well, the residual is set by the bank. So what you can buy it for is set the day you sign the lease. And how do you determine what it's really worth? Well, you look and you see what other dealers are selling the vehicle for. And remember that most dealers are not discounting their used inventory at the moment. So that would determine what the market value is. And you can also go to CarMax or Carvana or Vroom and get an instant quote from them. Or you could go to YAA and you could get one of our valuations to give you an idea of what your vehicle might be worth.
And Pop, sadly, my friend Elizabeth, her car got totaled last night. I mentioned that earlier. She immediately asked me, she's like, so what's how much is my car worth? Like, what's Geico going to tell me my car's worth? And I was walking her through. They use different valuations. They probably are going to look at a Black Book valuation. They're probably going to look at some other valuations. And they're going to say, hey, here's how much we think the market values this vehicle. And they'll cut you a check for it.
Yep. And you get to argue with them. Oh, Sandy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, then you really do get to argue with them. That's for sure. Now, Pops, we've got here this question from Lesko. I went to the dealer in Chicago area the other day for a new Ford Maverick. They had it listed on all apps and websites at MSRP. After test driving, they told me it was $41,000. Is that legal?
The one word answer is no. Report them to the Attorney General in your state of Illinois. They're supposed to advertise it for what they're really going to sell it for. And
every state has consumer protection laws about that. Every state.
And most states don't do anything with those laws. But
correct.
This is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on ever since Al Gore invented the internet, and dealers started advertising on the internet. Dealers have been advertising bogus prices on the internet since day one, because they either want people to click on it or they want people to come in, and then they'll break it to them gently what the real price of the car is. So is it legal? Probably not. Is it moral? Absolutely not. Would you want to do business with a dealership like that? My hope would be you would not.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the we have a video. I think it'll be coming out Monday of next week. 3 New Jersey dealerships got in trouble this, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. Small fines, but still it's because
Yes.
of false advertising. The Oklahoma state government recently put out a memo saying they were going to be reviewing all the dealership advertisements in their
They were
area.
going to
So we're
crack down on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pops, from our dear friend Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My 18-month anniversary with YAA live streams remind me of fine wine. They get better with time.
Thank you, Melissa. That you're too kind. Zach was going to say something profound, I could tell.
I've got 2 more. I got 2 more loops. So
Oh
I
my
guess we'll
God.
go. You wanted kind of like more like
Not really.
And I'll just take the volume down. We'll let that roll in the background. I mean, this is the good life, Dad. This is the good life.
I can't hear it.
Okay. Well, that's because you took your hearing aids out.
I only took one out.
All right, that's
Okay.
enough of that. I'll have to get a jazz one. We've got one more
Yeah.
loop. Then we're calling it a night. All right.
You got places to be and people to see, or at least one person to see.
Yeah, I got dinner to eat, man. I got dinner to eat.
Okay.
All right. Trinoculus P. Have any manufacturers equaled or surpassed Toyota's control systems for hybrids? I think Toyota is like very much so leading when it comes to hybrid powertrains. I don't who else would be close on that front.
I don't think anybody's close on it. I think Toyota pretty much invented it and perfected it and has been doing it longer than anybody. That's not to say that others out there aren't doing it. But I think there's some value in the expertise that Toyota has shown in their hybrid product over time.
Yeah, I think Toyota's done a masterclass in terms of being able to build that out. Joe asked this question, Pops. What happens to leftover year-old cars on dealers' lots that aren't, sold?
Every car gets sold. Okay, whether it gets sold to a retail customer from that dealership or that dealership that has been unable to sell it sells it to another dealership who will eventually find a retail customer for it, or takes it to the auction and sells it there. We did a video, one of our first videos, which I think has gotten over 1 million views. And I still get comments, well, what about all those graveyards? And what if, they take all these cars and they ship them to the desert? You know what? That business model doesn't work for a dealership. Okay. they buy the car. They then have to turn that into cash. Okay. They don't just send it to a strip of land and let it deteriorate into nothing. Okay. So I don't know, those might be staging facilities where the cars are being set up and going through the process so they can get shipped to dealers. But once a dealer owns a car, it's their responsibility to get out of it. Okay, one way or the other. So they all get sold, ladies and gentlemen, to somebody.
John with a question here, Pops. Am I more likely to get more money for a used car at a dealership of the same make? Or is there a chance I could get more money at a different manufacturer's dealership selling my used car to that type of dealership?
Typically, the like brand should have greater interest in your vehicle than a different brand, and would typically step up a little bit more to get that vehicle, because let's face it, if somebody's coming in for a new one and they don't have a new one, but they can look at your used one, well, they've got a built-in customer for it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, want to remind everyone, thank you
Yes.
everyone that's been with us here tonight. If you're not following us over at Instagram, it's Your Advocate Alliance. My dad is at Raz is Jazz. He posts sparingly, but when he does, it's really quite fantastic.
It's almost worth it. It's almost
and
worth
I am at Shepska. Follow us there because occasionally.
And you never post anything.
Come on, man. I posted what? This was
That was when did-
32 weeks ago. 32 weeks ago. That's reasonable.
Yeah, that was right before you ran the marathon in half marathon in Atlantic City.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
remember that.
yeah,
Final loop of the night, Pops. Ready?
yeah, sure. Oh yeah, let me talk dirty to you. Yeah.
No. Why did you?
I'm sorry. I guess we're leaving now.
you just that was a car crash that you just caused.
I'm sorry. God, we're just trying to give people their money's worth. You know what they paid for this? Nothing. Okay. Well, some paid a little more than others.
Thank you for the contribution. That is perfect. That
Thank
is
you.
like why we played that last loop. I like your clickbait titles of dealers going away, but I usually when you buy a car online, it's actually someone from the local dealership. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Give us a hard time for clickbait.
Yeah.
Give all the dealers who you buy your car online. You just anyway, buying it from the dealer anyway. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Folks are afraid we're gonna get demonetized now, Dad.
Why? What did I
don't know.
say?
You said let me talk dirty to you.
And did I? I stopped myself.
Yeah, here's your chance.
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Trying to do Barry White. I can't do Barry White. I apologize. Oh, God.
Right,
can I say something?
Yeah,
No
please, you can say
71-year-old
anything.
should even act like this. I apologize. I apologize to everyone. And if I haven't offended you yet, stick around. There's a likelihood I probably will. Oh, God.
All right. Let's yeah, Big Boy's right. Okay. This is getting cringy. Yeah.
Yeah, was for me.
This is
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna head home, Pops. You
Okay.
enjoy your evening
You do
at
the
the
same.
shore.
Yes.
I do want to actually, before I go, got these new shoes. Very happy with them. Look at
Yeah,
these
no,
colors.
they're
Aren't they
I
cool?
love the purple.
There's no one in the office, so no one has to be afraid about my spot. I like the purple too. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
you some.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's almost Phoenix Suns in nature.
All right, Dad. We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and we're definitely going to talk on Monday, because on Monday on the Ray and Zach channel, we'll be back with more news that you can use from YAA at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. So please join us there.
Past 10,000 subscribers to that channel. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Pretty incredible milestone, Dad.
Absolutely. Okay, go home. Say hi to Laura for me.
Love you, Pops. I'll catch you
Love
tomorrow.
you too. I'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
Good night, everybody.